How's it going, guys? Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel here. I'm actually riding on this. This is a southern Idaho trip where we came up with Kelsey from RK Tek, and Kelsey's up ahead of me on his Beta 300 RR. I'm riding my KTM 250XC. This is a 2017 model, and this is just kind of the beginning of our day. You can see it's a little bit rocky, a little bit loose, and I love to just go fast on this stuff. I love to just keep my momentum and click up a gear and just go. And this KTM 250XC that I'm on is just a monster at eating things up and just keeping up the momentum and blasting through the rocky stuff. And that isn't like the most terrible rocky stuff in the world. This trail is almost a 2-track trail here, but we had a ton of fun up here. For those of you that are wondering, I am using the RK Tek head on this 250XC, and I've had really good luck with it. I've actually really liked it. It gives a little bit more of the, it gives a little bit more bottom end back to the bike, and that's important when you're riding up at altitude, because as you go up in altitude, that air density decreases, and you've got to lean out your fuel-air mixture, and you know, your bike loses some power as you go up in altitude, and this helps to give some of that power back. So earlier in the year, I ran the RK Tek head on my 300XC before I sold it to Sam. And man, that thing had so bloody much power off the bottom end and the mid-range that it was just like wheeling everywhere. And I don't really think I need more power on the low end of my 300 two-strokes. So a little bit of a mixed bag for me on that, because it was just like wheeling everywhere. But I love how it works on the 250. So in my mind, you know, if you're one of those guys that thinks you need more power on your 300, go for it, because it'll give you more power.
All right, I'll see if I can hit this thing. So Kelsey tells me this is a pretty awesome climb. Says it's a couple thousand feet. Pretty much straight haul up to the summit. I let the other guys go, and well, some of the guys go in front, let some of that dust settle.
This is just the kind of trail up ahead that I'm constantly talking about, where you've got loose, rocky terrain where you just need to keep a little bit higher momentum. And this bike, the XC, the 250XCs and the 300XCs, they have just a high enough first and second gear that I think you can carry more momentum at a lower RPM, and that ends up helping you. And here in the western United States, in Utah and Idaho and Arizona and Colorado, we have a lot of this stuff. And if you get your RPMs too high, then it's just, you've got so much power down to that rear wheel, and it's so easy to just spin the sucker and not be able to make it up a hill. It's something that I have struggled with a lot in the past, is not being able to get traction. Now, tires will help. Now, if you keep good tires on your bike, tires are the best modification you can do. Here's another thing. Start running tubeless. You run tubeless, and you can run 5 pounds of pressure on a trail like this. If I'm running 5 pounds of pressure on a trail like this with tubes, I will get a pinch flat in like 17 nanoseconds. So I have to run 15 pounds of pressure if I'm running tubes, and you can't get any traction at 15 pounds of pressure. So run tubeless, run good tires, and then click up a gear, and you can keep your momentum a little bit more. And momentum is your friend when you're doing hill climbs like this.
Using the stag pegs today on the bike, they should help on this climb.
So stag pegs are a product that should make it easier for you to hold onto the bike, because they fit on the bike back behind your boots. If you guys have seen the review I did on them, they work okay. I mean, the problem is I didn't notice a ton of gains. But then when I'm going downhill, I sort of get my boots stuck on them a little bit. And so I wasn't like overly sold on them. I think it helps for a hill climb like this where it's long and sustained. It helps so that you can rely a little bit more on your feet than your hands. But it wasn't world changing for me.
So, well, these branches are so stinking low. You can't stand up. Now I'm back up. Ride the 250XC today.
With all these trees whipping me in the face and taking my eyes off the trail, I get disoriented just enough that I start to make a couple little line choice mistakes, and I start to lose traction and lose momentum. And you'll notice that I'm in second gear here, barely keeping the bike going up this thing, and I need to shift down to first just to get the bike running again, to get it moving again. And then I want to shift back up into second gear as soon as possible so that I can keep those RPMs low and the momentum high to be able to get traction, because that's the thing, is you're suffering for traction up this loose, rocky hill climb. You can hear me getting the momentum back into the bike, and just in a minute here I'm actually going to get a little bit greedy, and I'm going to shift up into third gear to keep that momentum high, and it's going to be more than the bike can chew, and I'll have to go back down to second.
This is a haul.
Check this out. In just a second, I'm going to get bounced over to the right and almost climb up out of this wall.
Oh, shoot.
And now I'm starting from scratch again, trying to get my momentum, and I'll end up making that mistake there into the left-hand side, and I'm like, screw this, and I'm going to get this thing going again to get this thing moving back up this hill, because I was a little frustrated by those two mistakes right in a row.
This is the group, huh?
Yeah.
Scott must have kept going.
Yeah, you can keep going or whatever. We just like stopping here and watching. Years ago, this used to be way rockier,
Yeah?
but now it's chilled out.
Yeah, you got to be on your toes.
Yeah, it's a lot easier now. But you're pretty much to the top. There's one little more section, but it ain't rocky.
Okay.